From the very beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Kyiv, requesting military assistance from its partners, has particularly emphasized the importance of supplying the army with ATACMS tactical missile systems. On 17th of October, the armed forces of Ukraine used ATACMS missiles to strike an airfield in Berdyansk, Zaporizhia region, temporarily occupied by the Russian army. The attack on the airfield in Russian-occupied Luhansk was also very effective. Later, the Russian command ordered the leftovers of equipment to be withdrawn from the affected area, further to the rear.
This also applies to the cruise missiles that we have received. We saw the consequences in Crimea. We saw what happened with the Russian fleet, which withdrew to the bases of Novorossiysk. So if Ukraine gets means that can reach the enemy to that depth, accordingly the enemy will respond to that. Yuri Ignat, spokesman for the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, on the air of Ukrainian national telephone.
Deliveries of long-range missiles Storm Shadow and Scalp Eagle from the United Kingdom and France and ATACMS from the United States have enabled Ukraine to strike previously protected Russian targets. Experts emphasize the high effectiveness of ATACMS.
It has a very high speed, about 1.5 kilometers per second. It flies on an aeroballistic trajectory. It is a hovering trajectory, which actually falls vertically downwards. It is very difficult to detect, and there are very few Russian complexes that can do this, but it is also very important that this complex is on alert at the moment of strike.
Moscow's only reaction to the successful attacks by the Ukrainian armed forces in the territories temporarily occupied by the Russian army is silencing the real scale of losses.
There is nothing surprising about it. They have 300,000 casualties there, not counting the wounded, disabled, and he says that they are doing well, everything according to plan. When he had 24 helicopters destroyed there, he says that they are doing fine, and this is 1.5-year production of helicopters in the whole Russian industry. This is his joke, you know, pretending that everything is fine, everything is according to plan.
On October 30th, Ukraine struck Russian-occupied Crimea with ATACMS missiles for the first time. The armed forces of Ukraine reported a successful defeat of a strategic air defense facility. In the opinion of the commander-in-chief Valery Zaluzhny, Crimea remains a secret place for Putin.
This is the core of his project to restore the empire, and his legitimacy is based on returning it to Russia. He should know that it is part of Ukraine and that there is war going on there. Valery Zaluzhny, commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, in an interview with The Economist.
A group of Republican congressmen has urged U.S. President Joe Biden to supply long-range missiles to Ukraine. In their letter, the U.S. lawmakers said that Ukraine had requested long-range ATACMS and it had already proven its ability to use them responsibly. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Yulia Bil, UATV News.